afternoon, 3rd and 4th grade. Today we are going to read an informational text. Alright, so we're going to read all about Gamera, who is a three-legged tortoise. Now, our point today is when we're reading, we want to pay attention to capitalization, we want to pay attention to punctuation, we want to pay attention to our sentences making complete sense, and then we're going to use the text to answer some different questions about that. Now, before we begin, I found a quick little video on Gamera, so take a listen to our video, and when you're done, we'll get going on our Wednesday worksheet.
Tortoises are actually fairly common in my practice. Since I do nothing but the exotics and wildlife, I can see some weeks as many as 2 or 3 tortoises in a week. And the sulcatas are one of the more common of the tortoise species that we get in as clients. So it's a little unusual to have one that needs a leg amputated. To have an animal come in that basically had a death sentence before we took him, nobody knew what we were going to be able to do with him with burns as severe as what he had. And to see him now crawling around doing fantastic and eating like a little pig does a whole lot of good for the heart. Pretty much if we have the desire, we'll figure out a way to make it work. We have done all kinds of different things for different animals. We've done prosthetics on other animals. At this point in time, it's quite possible that he will live with us for several years as a teaching animal, just to show students that something like this can be done and that the animal can thrive, as well as just teach the students how to care for a tortoise so that when they get out into practice and an owner brings them their brand new baby sulcata, they can say, yes, it's going to get to be 23 pounds in the first 12 years of life. So if you're expecting this animal to stop at 6 pounds, it's the wrong pet for you. And then to show them, kind of this is what they eat and how to maintain them in captivity.
In our video, you learned about Gamera. Now we're going to read a little bit more information about him as well. Make sure you get your name at the top. Today's date is the 23rd. Gamera, the three-legged tortoise. Have you ever seen a three-legged tortoise? Notice the question mark there? We've got an interrogative sentence that ends with a question mark and starts with a capital letter. Have you ever seen a three-legged tortoise? The veterinarians who work at the animal hospital at Washington State University have, notice that, Washington State University, a specific place. All of those are capitalized. His name is Gamera. He came to the hospital with a badly burned leg. The leg had to be amputated or cut off to save Gamera's life. Since he couldn't support his heavy shell with only 3 legs, the veterinarians had to get creative. They glued a wheel to his shell. Now, Gamera, the three-legged tortoise, is wheeling around happily and doing just fine. Notice this information about Gamera. Now, Gamera, comma, the three-legged tortoise, comma, is wheeling around happily, right? The three-legged tortoise gives us more information about Gamera, so that's set off by commas. Same thing here. The leg had to be amputated or cut off, right? That tells you what amputated means, so that's extra information set off by commas. Let's look at our questions. 1, why did Gamera go to the hospital? Well, now you've seen a video on it, and you've read the story, so that one should be pretty easy. Why did Gamera go to the hospital? If you don't remember, reread. What did he have? What did he have that he had to go to the hospital for? Sentence number 2. What kind of hospital did he go to? Did he go to the same hospital that you and I would go to if we got hurt? No. Reread. The veterans who work at the animal hospital at Washington State. So, he went to the animal hospital. I love extra information. At Washington State University. Now, as you guys are continuing in your education, your goal is to keep writing more complex, longer sentences. This is an awesome sentence because it tells us that he went to the animal hospital at Washington State University, right? That's extra information. Extra information is always a good idea. Number 3, how did the veterinarian save his life? Well, reread. Look for Gamera's life. Look which sentence has Gamera's life. What did they have to do to save his life? Then for number 4, how did they help Gamera support his shell? What did he do? Can you imagine his shell was just falling down? So what did they do to help him support that heavy shell? You've seen it in a video and you've read about it. If you don't know, go back and rewatch the video. And number 5, based only on information in the passage, what do you know about Gamera before he was injured? Before he was injured. All right, well, before he was injured, we don't know a whole lot about him, except that he was badly burned. We don't even know how he got it. Excellent. Now, I did number 2 and number 5 with you. You should also have number 1, 3, and 4 completed. Tomorrow, we're going to be writing a creative writing assignment, a little bit different kind of journal entry about animals. So, I'll look forward to doing that journal with you tomorrow.